Okay, so Jedi Fallen Order officially releases at the end of this week. But thanks to the PC preload, data miners have already pretty much scavenged through the entire game now, and in the past few days have uncovered a lot of juicy details. In this video, I want to give a quick rundown as fast as possible on every single thing that has been leaked from the game's files, and this includes both minor and major spoilers for the game's story. I'll start off at first by going over the small things which honestly aren't really spoiler material, as bits and pieces of that has already been openly revealed by the Respawn devs. But of course we'll later jump into the heavy story spoilers, for which don't worry, I'll give you a warning before we get there in case anyone will want to opt out. But I do know there are a lot of people that want to see that kind of stuff and learn as much as possible about the game and really don't care about story spoilers as much as others, so that part of the video will be just for them. Okay, so starting off with the non-spoiler stuff, we have details about all the different lightsaber colors and even hilts that will be available to Cal in the game. Going over the colors first, we have a total of 8 Saber Colors, which are blue, green, cyan, indigo, magenta, orange, purple, and yellow. All of these should be available to earn or find within the game with the exception of orange, which is a special pre-order bonus only Saber color. So if you didn't pre-order the game, then you're gonna be missing out on getting that orange saber, especially if you're on console. On PC, it's probably not going to be that big of a deal. Honestly, I'm sure there's gonna be maybe an orange saber mod out there for the game eventually, amongst many other color mods too. But yeah, the base colors aren't too surprising. You have your traditional blue and green sabers, cyan, which is a lighter shade of blue, and then indigo, magenta, which are both different shades of purple. One of them is kinda pinkish. Then of course we also get normal purple, and the only surprise here for me being yellow. Those are very rare to see in canon, being used by only the Jedi Temple guards, so it's nice to see that as an option here. Meanwhile, orange has never been seen in canon before, so I guess maybe that's why it's been locked as a pre-order bonus item only. Next, for Saber Hilts, we've got over 22 Lightsaber Hilts available in the game, which is an incredibly impressive amount. Most of these lightsaber hilts aren't spoilers or anything like that, but there are 2 or 3 that I'd say are story spoiler heavy, so I'll wait a while until we can get to the minor spoiler section of this video before I'll actually show off all the lightsaber hilts in the game. The only one that I'm going to show off here is that Cal's double-bladed damaged lightsaber does eventually get repaired in the story. I think it's fair to talk about this as this isn't really a spoiler. I mean, we literally see Cal running around with the damaged double-bladed lightsaber from the get-go. So it's fair to assume in a long single-player game, it will eventually get repaired. However, as for how he gets it, repairs it, or the backstory behind the saber, then that stuff is actual spoilers, for which we're gonna want to avoid here. Continuing on, the game files also suggest that Cal will be able to customize his saber, such as replacing the tip of it, the middle portion, the switch itself, and the end. Along with there also being something called Element A and B that can be customized in the saber as well. However, we don't really know exactly what these are. According to data miner Clone Trooper 163, this does indeed go along with the 6 parts of lightsaber customization in the game. As for the force powers, we've got an entire list of all the force powers Cal can learn in the game. You've got your traditional force pull, push, and such, but also some new stuff like force slow and something called air focus attack. However, keep in mind that in this game, Cal will learn force powers by having flashbacks, which is something that the developers have told us before. As for planets in the game, I saw a lot of people asking about the confirmed number of planets that will be in the game, and so far we've got quite a bit of them, such as Bogano, Braca, Dathomir, Planet Fortress, Ilum, Kashyyyk, Eris, and Zepho. That's a total of 9 planets right there, and actually 10 if we count Umbara and something called an Order 66 planet. However, from what I'm told, those will only be single mission kind of planets where you'll get to visit only once and won't be able to explore it later on. Like for example Umbara. The planet itself is titled as Umbara Fight Club in the game files, so take that for what it is. As for the Order 66 planet, that's something which I believe will be a flashback planet or mission during Order 66. I'm only mentioning this here because in one of the developer interviews, we were told that we'd get flashbacks to Cal's childhood in the game. So since that information is already out there and open, I'm not counting this as a story spoiler per se. So yeah, during those flashbacks, you're going to be able to experience Order 66. Now as for the actual explorable planets, one of those planets, Eris for example, isn't really a planet per se, but more of an asteroid. From what little we do know about Eris, it will be some kind of bounty hunter space station, and thus I don't think it'll be very large, so there might not be that much exploring going on there or even creatures to see and fight. I mean, you could be facing bounty hunters there, which they are in the game files, and their designs look pretty cool. There's quite a few of them. But yeah, if there's any planet where you face bounty hunters, then it's most likely going to be Eris. The Fortress planet is, from what I'm told, the Inquisitor's base planet. So I'm assuming that will be a location that does open on later on when Cal is ready to fight one of the Inquisitors in a final boss battle or something like that. Ilum will also be an explorable planet for sure, but what is interesting here is that Jedi Fallen Order does confirm that this planet ends up becoming Starkiller Base in the sequel trilogy. This was already something that was all but confirmed, as we all speculated this would be the case, but good to know that this has been finally confirmed once and for all. Lastly, there is an image of a red planet titled Mustafar in the game files as well. But before you do get excited, there is some bad news about this, as so far there isn't any data that this might be a playable planet, but maybe more so something that Respawn wanted to include but ran out of time and ended up cutting it from the game. Either way, this was in the game files, so I did want to include it in a video, about leaks. As for customization options for Cal, then there aren't very much. From what Clone Trooper 163, the main data miner for all these leaks, has found is all but a poncho and various different colors for it and Cal's normal clothes. So if you were expecting some crazy character customization options or buying uniforms or new clothes or something like that, then you may be disappointed by this news. And for game photographers, it's been said that there will not be any kind of in-game photo mode like Red Dead Redemption 2 has on PC, at least not on launch. So if you do plan on taking some cool pictures in-game on PC at least, then you'll have to use Nvidia's Ansel software to do that. Alright, so now we'll be heading into minor spoiler territory. Here we'll talk about some things that will appear in the game's story and can be seen as a spoiler, but it's nothing major to the actual story's plot. Starting out, we've got an entire list of all the characters that will show up in the game. Here we can pick out some interesting names like Clone Trooper Officer, Palpatine, Vader, Obi-Wan, Youngling Rodian, and Inquisitor Cal. Yeah, definitely no idea what Inquisitor Cal means, as I do know the game's ending and there's nothing there that references this. So I'm assuming this may be something that is what if related or maybe future DLC material, as it doesn't seem to have anything to do with the actual story. But from what I do know, Obi-Wan will only be seen as a hologram in the game, while Youngling Rodian or Youngling Generic means that we'll get to see them through flashbacks when Cal is a youngling himself, just before Order 66. In my last video, I also mentioned zombies, and yeah, zombies will definitely be in this game. And as some of you guessed it, they'll be found exclusively on Dathomir. Not much else is known about these Night Sister zombies and whether the Empire will interact with them or not. But already knowing that they will be in the game, then that gives Dathomir this whole new creep factor. In addition to that, we're also going to be seeing Night Brothers on Dathomir as well, which are Dathomirian Zabraks. It still remains to be seen if they will be neutral characters or enemies that Cal will have to fight while on Dathomir, but either way it's gonna be cool to see and interact with them. There will also be other unique characters like Temple Guards, which I can only assume will be those guarding the different temples in the game that Cal will try to gain access to. I'm very intrigued to see how these guys are going to be fighting Cal, and whether or not they're going to wield any lightsabers. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys turn out to be some mini bosses in those temples. We also have brute droids, which make an appearance as well, who will show up as enemies to fight against Cal. These droids originally first showed up in The Force Awakens at Maz's Tavern, so this will be their first appearance outside of that movie. And also, I'm not sure if these droids are the same, but the game's illustrations also have Cal fighting against some type of large droid with a purplish lightsaber. They're probably not the same, but still, they're both big droids, and I imagine this one might be a boss fight or something like that. Kind of cool too, but we know that next to clones, B1 battle droids will be making an appearance in the game too, thanks to their textures being found in the files. According to some descriptions in the game files, these B1 battle droids are supposedly remnants of the droids that stormed Kashyyyk during the Clone Wars, and somehow they just never deactivated and avoided the Imperials all this time. There's also a texture of a clone trooper which might potentially belong to a new Legion. I'm not completely sure on this one. It does look similar to the Legion Obi-Wan fought with on Utapau, but also a bit different due to the helmet and the V-shaped chest design. Either way, I do think it's pretty cool that Jedi Fallen Order could potentially be revealing an entirely new Legion to canon. The last list I have is one for all the vehicles in the game. We can see here AT-RT, ATT, Venator class, LAAT, amongst many more. Now, I'm not sure if Cal will be able to have an encounter with all of them, especially of some of the obvious Clone Wars vehicles, but if anything, they may just show up in the flashback missions of the game when Cal is a youngling and right before Order 66. In regards to lightsabers, we do have images of all the Lightsaber Hilts that will show up in the game. Now, I can't say if all of them will be usable by Cal or not, but there is definitely a lot of choices here to be had. Also, it looks like there will be more than several ancient Sith sabers in the game, which I find incredibly interesting as the devs told us that Cal won't be able to change his custom lightsaber color to red. So in that case, will we have to pick up Sith sabers in order to do that? Not to mention, there are two different Inquisitor lightsabers shown here too, which has got me thinking, does this mean that Cal will be able to pick them up and use them? No idea, but there is for sure a ton of cool possibilities we could have here. Finally, we'll next be going into heavy story spoiler territory. This is stuff that if you really value the story portion of the game, then you may want to avoid this section altogether as, again, it's serious story spoiler content. First, we'll get into the game length, and based on what the game data tells us, there will be a total of 6 chapters to play through. As for how long these chapters are, we don't know. I do hope though that they are long enough, as 6 just doesn't seem enough if the chapters are short. Next, for special characters, believe it or not, but Cal and Cere aren't the only Jedi in the game that survived Order 66, as the leaks reveal a new Jedi called Malicos, who was described to once be a Jedi general that escaped the horrific purge of Order 66. We don't know much about Malicos, actually nothing at all, other than he may be the fallen Jedi that Cal fights, as seen in the Xbox and PS4 trophy and achievement list. As for who the second sister is, then yeah, it's definitely not Barriss, but a human, or at least I think they're a human, character called Trilla. According to the game files, Cal learns that Cere lied to him, hiding that her former Padawan Trilla is the second sister. When Cere was tortured by the Empire, she was forced to betray Trilla. The Empire then captured Trilla and turned her to an Inquisitor. So yeah, there you go, Trilla is Cere's former Padawan, and the whole time Cere keeps this information away from Cal. As for the mystery behind Cal's lightsaber, then according to the localization files, Cal got it from his master, who was a Lasat Jedi Master. Cal's unnamed master was fatally wounded during Order 66 by the clones from that supposedly new Legion. Anyway, before he died, he handed over his lightsaber to Cal and told him to run, which looks like he did to an escape pod. And yeah, as we can see, this is indeed confirmation that Cal's, or should I say his master's, lightsaber was originally double-bladed, but later somehow got damaged. We also know that Cal later takes Cere's old lightsaber hilt, goes to Ilum, and there he somehow ends up repairing his master's damaged lightsaber, making it once again double-bladed. Meanwhile, for Vader, we still don't know if he's going to be a final boss in the game or not. The game data does show us that he's got the animation rigging and other important files that the rest of the in-game characters do too, implying that he should be someone that Cal does end up fighting in the game later on. However, we don't have anything confirming that for sure. With that said, we do know that Vader is the one who ends up killing the second sister and Seer, all thanks to this data-mined voice clip, and yeah, Vader does encounter Cal here too. Take a listen for yourself.
You have failed me, Inquisitor.
Avenge us! Cal, run! No! Seer.
You would be wise to surrender.
Yeah. Probably.
So from what I can tell, this voice clip comes from a cutscene at the end of the game, and we have no idea if there's any battle scene that initiates between Cal and Vader. For all we know, that might just be the end of the game, leaving us with a cliffhanger. If that were the case, then at least there would be some material there open for Respawn to make a sequel. I guess maybe that's what they're planning here. Either way, I think that just about covers all the leaks for Jedi Fallen Order. Remember, it releases this Friday, so I'll see about making more videos on it once I do have the game in my hand. But until then, that'll do it for me. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.